gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up.
Hey guys, I'm here with the one and only Muay Thai guy, Sean Fagan. This is the Unqualified MMA podcast. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so give us a little bit about yourself. The Muay Thai guy brand is now getting more and more popular with Knock Muay Nation and all that. I'm super happy to see what you're doing with it. So tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started.
So I guess a quick overview is when I was little, I used to always play team sports. I played baseball and hockey, and I always thought I wanted to be a professional baseball or hockey player. But in hockey, I often found myself fighting people. And so after a game where I was almost in the penalty box for half the game, my mom was like, "You should just join boxing," kind of like jokingly. So I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." So boxing led to MMA, and MMA led to Muay Thai. And then in a weird way of the world, I guess, a weird twist of events, I won a online poker tournament for like 15 grand. I just finished reading 2 books, The 4-Hour Work Week and The Fighter's Heart. And I I got fired from my job. I had no girlfriend. My lease just ended. So I traveled to Thailand, had my first few fights. And then I decided that's what I was going to do. And I was going to figure out how to create an online business out of Muay Thai. I was going to become a professional fighter, and I just kind of made the decision that that was what I was going to do.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's always cool to see you guys make their passion their career as well. So tell everyone about these. I had seen on your website you're doing these retreats now in Thailand. They're, seem like half vacation, half training, and you're working with Senshai. I mean, like I saw those videos and I'm blown away. I mean, that dude's the GOAT, and you getting to work with him, it's got to be pretty incredible.
Yeah, these vacations are just kind of happened organically with people reaching out to me and asking if I would want to host retreats or training camps at their gym or resort. And once I did one, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. I get to travel the world and teach Muay Thai and hopefully make a little bit of money doing it. And so once I did my first one in Costa Rica, the gym Kang Sita in Bangkok reached out to me. And I started doing training camps there, and they have a connection with Sanchai, and then that's where I was able to meet Sanchai and train with him, and all that kind of stuff. And then it just kind of blew up into like a almost like its own business in its own right. And now we host events in Greece, in Costa Rica, in Spain, and then we do a bunch of training camps all around Thailand, like Bangkok, here on my home island in Koh Phangan, and then Chiang Mai as well. And so it's been a lot of fun. Traveling and training Muay Thai all the time can be a little tiring, but I wouldn't want to trade it for the world.
Oh yeah. So how's the Muay Thai in Thailand different from like the training you're getting over here in the States whenever you're home? I mean, I'm sure it's vastly different in terms of expertise of your trainers, but is there anything else that's big difference in the training styles, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the training, like first off, you don't have to hold pads. And that's like the biggest difference. You have a pad holder pretty much every single training session, which is a huge benefit because as you probably know, like pad work is something that's a lot of fun, great for cardio, and just great for like actually being able to apply your techniques and combinations and all that kind of stuff. So you get a pad holder every single time. In addition to that, like life is revolved around training more or less. And so there's training twice a day. You don't have much else to do unless you have a job. And then you're just there training and focus on training, eating delicious Thai food and everything in between. One thing that I do, like, I want to open up a gym sometime soon because I love the Muay Thai style of training here in Thailand, but I also love the Dutch and Western style of training as well. And I find that a lot of gyms don't have both. And so I want to kind of create a hybrid of a little Western style along with the traditional Thai style of training. Because if you come to Thailand and you train for months or years, it's the same thing every day. Like you literally are doing almost the same thing every day with some minor adjustments here or there. But with like Dutch style training, and I used to train with Ludwig, and he opened my eyes to just a whole different aspect of training and a whole different style of training that I wanted to start to implement that style along with the traditional style. So hopefully I'll be able to blend the two in the near future.
So what would you say that a hybrid between the Dutch style and the Thai style of training would look like? Because, watching the videos of a lot of the Dutch strikers, they go to war in that gym. It seems like all the time. Whereas the Thais, it's a lot more like play sparring, or, this is from an outsider perspective. So, what would you think that blend would look like?
So I'm much more of a fan of play sparring, of like technical sparring. Maybe one hard sparring session a week or every other week. And it also depends on if you have a fight coming up and what your goals are as a fighter or practitioner. But generally speaking, like the main thing is I would just have some type of curriculum. I would have some type of split. So this way, like maybe on Mondays would be all Thai style training, and then Tuesdays would be Dutch style, where there's a lot of partner drills and movement drills and just back and forth sparring drills. And then I would just kind of break it up in a way that made sense logistically and then also technically. So this way you're building on top of techniques, building on top of different types of footwork and everything in between. So that's how I wouldn't necessarily blend the training session itself with the two, but I would blend the training regimen with both styles of training.
Yeah. So, we are an MMA podcast, and it seems like recently with the explosion of the UFC, guys are realizing that Thais going to Thailand, that's the best striking you're going to get. I don't know how much you follow MMA, but, are there guys that you've seen in the cage that actually have good Muay Thai? Because I heard, Gaston Bolanos, Kevin Ross saying like, nah, that's not real good Muay Thai in there.
Well, it's a different sport, and so like good Muay Thai in MMA is different than good Muay Thai in Muay Thai. And so I'm a big fan of Kahlil Roundtree. His last couple of fights have been like next level, and he's adapted the Thai style to his striking a lot. And I just like the guy's personality and everything. I've never met him, but he seems just like a really friendly, down-to-earth dude. And then his fighting style is just explosive and powerful and technical and beautiful. But yeah, he's the main one that comes to mind. Edson Barbosa also has really good Muay Thai striking as well. I like Paul Felder's striking. It's not necessarily like Muay Thai specific, but that's the thing is like MMA striking is just different. And so it's hard to really, it's comparing apples and oranges in a way, because so many people have the misconception of like striking for MMA is the same as striking for Muay Thai. And the striking for kickboxing is the same as striking for Muay Thai. And that's not even true. They all look the same from the outside perspective when you're just watching the sport as a casual fan. But if you're actually doing it, there's so many different layers to the striking that it's hard to really like compare them separately. Just like when you see Conor McGregor go to boxing or someone transition from one sport to another, it's a different sport. And that's why they're different sports and there's different champions and there's different things like that. And so although there are some great Muay Thai strikers, I mean, if you watch ONE FC, there's a lot of great Muay Thai strikers in MMA. And Stamp Fairtex, I don't know if you know her, but she is a savage, man. She's just so good. And she's transitioned to MMA, and her Muay Thai is beautiful there. And so, yeah, I guess it kind of depends on what you classify as Muay Thai. I mean, if you fight pure Muay Thai striking in MMA, you're going to get taken down and you're going to get beat up. So why would you do that, Exactly. So I think it's just a matter of being able to blend everything the best, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm absolutely with you. I train myself, and I've had my share of fights, and they're definitely not the same. Honestly, if Muay Thai was as big in the U.S. as I would hope it would, there'd be no reason for me to get in that cage. Man, it's awesome. If only I could do that instead, but just hoping that it keeps growing. No, you were mentioning Stamp Fairtex, actually, a teammate of mine from back home, B. Wen. Killer B, she just fought Stamp.
I actually just interviewed B. That's funny. Yeah.
Small world. World. So, with this whole lockdown going on, how's that affecting you in Thailand? I mean, the entire world's under quarantine.
Yeah, honestly, for me personally, it really isn't affecting me too much. The only difference there's two main differences. One, I don't go to the gym to train, and so I don't have like training partners and stuff. And two, I don't go out to eat as much. But other than that, I mean, my life is pretty much self-isolation anyway. I work from home. I'm used to creating my own schedule. I have my own training set up here. My wife trains too, so I'm able to train with her. And yeah, we're very fortunate that I've been able to create a lifestyle where I'm able to continue doing what I love, even if the whole world is on lockdown, essentially. And so we literally live on Paradise Island. And so like every day it's rainy today, but it's beautiful most days. And so I'm very grateful to be where I am because my family's in New York and my little brother is a paramedic in the city. And just talking to him and my family in New York, it just seems so much crazier. And I live in such a small bubble here in Thailand. But supposedly the cases are going down and they're thinking about opening up some businesses in the next month, but it sounds like another month of a state of emergency, which means that the gym and that kind of stuff will be closed. But like I said, it doesn't really affect me and my lifestyle too much.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, that's good to hear. I mean, I'm in Texas now, and you know, we're still under quarantine. All of our gyms are closed, which is a huge bummer. You know, so the only work anyone's getting is a bag in the garage and some cardio. And yeah, no. So with MMA exploding all over, and now these big gyms like Tiger and AKA opening up in Thailand, how would you say, you know, guys who go to those type of gyms differentiate or are different from the local gyms like Kawapitek and you know, Sinbi and the other gyms in Thailand?
It's hard to say because I haven't had any really firsthand experience at those gyms because for the most part, they're kind of gauged around MMA in a sense. They do have, obviously, they're Muay Thai because they're Muay Thai in Thailand, but they also just have a large MMA crowd. And so, like Phuket Top Team and AKA and Tiger, like from what I can tell, this is just my unbiased opinion, is that from the outside, it seems like some people love it, some people hate it. The people who love it are the people who generally train MMA and are a little bit more advanced to intermediate. So this way they can really get a lot of work in. They like the structure of the differences of the classes. So like one day will be boxing, one day will be Muay Thai, one day will be MMA, yada, yada, yada. Where other people who are more beginners tend to feel like just a number at those gyms and just kind of just going in, paying, and then maybe getting a little bit of attention, but even the Thai trainers might not pay the most attention to them because they know they're going to be in and out. And so those are the main two philosophies that I get or experiences that I hear from people who go there. But me personally, I haven't gone there, so it's hard to say. But I do know that the MMA gyms specifically tend to have harder sparring. And so if you like hard sparring, you could always go there. But yeah, that's my general take on that.
Yeah. No, I was actually just talking with a buddy of mine who was at Fairtex for about 6 months before going to China to train. And he was just saying that at the bigger gyms, it's a different feel than the smaller, more local ones. And just he said it was more of a commercial feel than a true authentic experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's a balance to be had. You know, some people some people have this romanticized version of like, oh, I'm going to go to Thailand and train Muay Thai and sleep in a fan room with 10 other Thais and need to learn the language and eat just rice twice a day. And like, that sounds like cool, but then you do it and then it gets tiring in like a day. And then you're like, what the fuck am I doing? You know? And so some Western appeal with like some comforts of home is really important, at least for me to enjoy myself. Because like I've done the rugged Thai training, but I've also done the more luxury Thai training, and I think there's a balance in between to be had. And when I open up my gym, hopefully in like a year or two, I want to have it more of an like inclusive gym where it's not overpopulated with people, but everyone's getting quality training. And I want it to be a big gym, but I don't want to be commercialized either and ran like a commercialized gym. And so the good thing about there being so many different gyms that there's so many different styles and personalities and characteristics that you can kind of look into and see whether or not that gym is good for you. And yeah, there's thousands of gyms. And so if one doesn't work for you, then try the other one. If Tiger Muay Thai doesn't work for you, try one off the side of the road that you've never heard of before and see the difference between the two.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So where would you want to open up your gym?
Where I'm at on Koh Phangan. So we live in the northwest part of the island, and it's very quiet here. There's no Muay Thai gyms here. There's not much here besides some resorts and stuff. But yeah, we have the land scouted out. We are trying to essentially manifest us buying the land, but it's obviously a little expensive. So we're trying to make and save as much money as possible. But yeah, me, my wife, and my business partner, that's a plan to hopefully be able to purchase the land by the end of the year, and then just kind of take it from there. But we'll see.
So if you were to talk to a Westerner who wanted to go over to Thailand to train, what would your first advice be?
Like, find out what your goals are. Like, that's probably the most important thing. Like, are you going to fight, to like try to do as best you can, or do you want to be able to train hard but also experience the culture? What's your budget like? What's your kind of atmosphere like? Do you like the city life? Do you like the mountain? Do you like the beach? All these kind of questions. That's one of the most common questions I get is like, what gym should I train at in Thailand? Or how do I go about training in Thailand? So I actually made a whole YouTube video on this, and it breaks down like the key things that you need to consider before going to Thailand. And that's budget, location, what your goals are, and a few other things. And so it really just comes down to being proactive and doing your own research, but also just making the leap and buying your fucking ticket and then figuring it out from there. Because once you buy the ticket, then it's like, oh shit, like I'm going to Thailand. Like I need to figure out where I'm going to go in Thailand, you know? And so I think a lot of people overanalyze it and try to make excuses essentially to be like, oh, I shouldn't go yet. I haven't picked up a gym yet, or I shouldn't go yet. I haven't saved up enough money yet. The people who end up coming to Thailand most of the time, sometimes they don't have a plan. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they have money. Sometimes they don't. But the overall feel of it is people who just really want to have an experience of a different nature. And so you can wait your whole life to do something like this, but it's very rare that you're able to actually make it happen. So it's been nice to see so many other people. Like we host these training camps in Thailand and other parts of the world, and people come to Thailand for the first time and have a great experience, and then they're going to be coming back, and then that's going to help grow the sport of Muay Thai more. And the more people know about Muay Thai, the more it's going to be able to impact people's lives positively, and then it kind of creates a ripple effect, you know?
Oh yeah. So had you had full rules Muay Thai fights in the States before going to Thailand?
Well, no, my first fights were in Thailand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, what's it like fighting there? I mean, the stadiums seem incredible. Just the energy, the atmosphere seems wild.
I enjoy it. Well, I want to say I enjoy it more. Yeah, fuck it. I enjoy it more here because like the general feel for fighting here is like, it's just like another day. It's just part of the culture here, is part of the life here. And so it's just easier to fight here, where back in the States, it's like this huge to do. It's like everything from like social media, from selling tickets, from doing this, from doing that. And then also balancing training with other life responsibilities and work and that kind of stuff. While you're here in Thailand, it's kind of like everything is just, at least for me, revolved around Muay Thai. And most people who fight, everything is just revolved around Muay Thai. And so the type of fighting here is also very Muay Thai. So like in the States, you could do 5 full rule rounds, but the scoring is different. The pace of the fight is different. The atmosphere is different. Where fighting here in Thailand, the scoring is completely different, and I'm still getting used to how the fights are scored, and just the atmosphere and the mutual respect between the opponents and the never-ending list of opponents that you could fight every week if you wanted to is a beautiful thing. But yeah, more the main thing is that just fighting here is just another day, and you win, you lose, it doesn't matter. You show up to training the next day, and then you fight again. You win, you lose, doesn't matter. You just keep going. Where in the States, especially just with this whole idea of like being undefeated and having this amazing record and that kind of stuff, it puts a lot of pressure on a lot of fighters to be a certain way, where here it's just like, no, they don't ask you how many wins you have. They ask you how many fights you have, because that's like the true mark of like a fighter. It's just like, yeah, if you win all the time, like Ronda Rousey's a great example of this. I don't mean to bash on her, but she was great, right? She did amazing things for the sport, and she was ripping through girls. And then she loses, and then she loses again, and then she just quit. She didn't know how to lose, you know?
Mhm.
And that to me is not a fighter, is someone who can just lose and just kind of give up. And those
Yep.
were her first losses, and then you never heard of her again, right? And so it's easy to win. I mean, winning is like, you don't have to doubt yourself. You don't have to go through all of the waves of emotion and self-hatred that you would if you lose. But if you lose and then you're able to come back and continue fighting, that's the mark of a true fighter. And that's what so many people here in Thailand live by, and I can appreciate that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm absolutely with you. I mean, winning a fight feels great. You feel like, Mr. Badass for that night, but you find out who you are after a loss.
Yeah, for sure.
If anything, like a loss always ignited a fire under me, and I trained harder and harder because I didn't feel like a loser again. It's a different thing. Just on Ronda Rousey again, not to just pile on the lady, but whenever she jumped ship and left the sport, I mean, after 2 losses, really? I mean, it's kind of a shame.
It was how she carried herself too. It's like when she won, she was just not a good winner either. She was like a stubborn, arrogant winner. And then when she lost, she wouldn't even stay around for like the names to be announced for the winner. She wouldn't do any of that. She would just barge out of the ring. She was just not a good representative of a martial artist, in my opinion. And although she's a great fighter and she did great things in the sport, just the way she represented herself, I thought was very just disingenuous and just not. It was just arrogant in a way, but each to their own. Every fighter has their flaws. I mean, look at John Jones and Conor McGregor and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially when you get to a certain level, you get this type of big head where the whole world revolves around you. And I think that probably happened to her, and then being able to climb back out of such a hole that she dug herself. And the UFC should have never gave her Amanda Nunes for a comeback fight. That was horrible decision. But I made a lot of money betting on that fight, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a stupid. If the UFC really cared about her, they would not have fed her to the lion.
No. And so you were talking about, the way that different scoring is, how scoring is different in Thailand versus in the States. I mean, if you could go further into detail about that. I mean, I was a huge line fight fan over here in the States, and, now we don't really see it anymore, which is a huge bummer because I thought that was incredible. The only issue I had is whenever they would bring over a Thai who had 200 fights, and he'd fight an American with 7. It seemed wrong.
Yeah. I mean, so Lion Fight did a good job. There's a lot of qualms I have with them as well, though. The way that they treat some fighters and some things on the back burner that you probably don't see. But they did a good job at promoting the sport and helping people become more exposed to Muay Thai. That being said, the scoring for Lion Fight was still very different than the scoring in Thailand too, because the scoring in the West is done by a round basis, essentially, where in Thailand it's kind of more of a story to the fight. And so more often than not, the first 2 rounds, they aren't scored at all. If they are scored, they're scored very small. Like, it's like not even worth scoring, because it's more of a feeling out round, and gambling has a big impact on the sport here. And so that's when the gamblers start to set their bets, are in the first 2 rounds. And then the rounds 3 and 4 really count the most, with 4 weighing the heaviest. Like, if you win the 4th round, chances are you're going to win the fight. But if the fight is still close going into the 5th round, then that's when the deciding factor is. In regards to what scores, body kicks and visible like attacks that look like they do damage. A lot of it is aesthetic, right? But punches to the head don't count for anything. Leg kicks don't count for anything unless they're showing physical damage. If like their head gets snapped back or their leg gets turned in, then that's scoring. Also, good defense and good balance, good control in the clinch is super important as well. If you ever get swept, being swept is a big score against you because you should never have your back on the ground. And so all these things are things you have to consider while you're fighting, but it's hard to know because like I've had fights, and this is where it helps to have a Thai trainer as your corner man. It's like I'll have a fight going into the 5th round, and so sometimes for those who don't know, in the 5th round, about halfway through, if the fight's kind of decided and like who won, the Thai fighters will kind of like just dance around and wait for the bell to ring because they fight so often they don't want to cause any more damage to each other, so on and so forth. And so one fight, my corner, I thought I won, and my corner was telling me to slow down and just relax, and then I lost. So I was like, well, what the fuck was that? Like I should have kept fighting, I guess. Yeah. And then another fight I had, I thought I was losing, but my corner was like, no, you're winning. Like, relax, slow down, don't fight anymore. And then I won. I was like, I don't. So I think one day I think I understand Thai scoring, and then the next day I don't. And so it's just a matter of, really immersing yourself in the sport and trying to grasp the smaller, subtle intricacies of it. But it's difficult, man. It's definitely difficult.
Oh yeah. No, that sounds wild. I mean, it's a bummer not knowing, what's going on. I mean, even in amateur boxing and things like that, I would go in the fight and be like, all right, I won that. And then, you get the decision read and you're like, no, I can't imagine. So whenever you're training in Thailand, where have you've traveled a lot all over the country, I assume, training. Mm-hmm. Where would you say would be your favorite gym that you've been at so far?
Well, I love my home gym, Diamond Muay Thai here. A lot because the atmosphere is it's like laid back, but also intense when I need it to be. It is more of a beginner's gym and a lot of people who are coming just for vacation, but I'm fortunate to have some of the Thai trainers to work with who are very good, and they have hundreds of fights. So as long as I have 1 or 2 training partners, that's all I really need. So Diamond does a really good job. Other than that, I really enjoy Kangsita in Bangkok. They have really nice facilities. They too have really good trainers and fighters there that I'm able to work with. And the owners there are very nice, good people, and they have really good connections in the Muay Thai scene. Matthew Dean, he's one of the fight commentators for Super Muay Thai. He used to be a commentator for or ring personality for a Thai fight. And so they're good people to know, and they're very hospitable while I'm there. And then in Chiang Mai, I really enjoy my time at Team Quest. And obviously these are all biased answers because these are the gyms that I train at and I host my training camps at. But I picked these gyms for a reason because I know that they're doing a good job with the trainers. They're doing a good job to make sure they're taking care of everyone. And I've trained at a couple gyms here and there around Thailand where you kind of feel like a number. You kind of just feel like you're just thrown there in the wolves. They're not taking care of your training. They're not really taking care of you outside of training either. And so once I find a gym or two that really goes above and beyond to make sure that you're taken care of, you're getting the right type of training, then I tend to stick with them. But those are the main spots that I would recommend for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And just on the Thai culture, what's been your favorite place just to visit throughout the country, or any place you got like exciting memories or just fun things that went on?
Well, yeah, so many, man, so many. Chiang Mai is really beautiful, and it's like a small city, big town kind of feel. And it just has so much culture and life to it. And the outside area of the mountains have a lot of beautiful wats and surrounding areas. And it's gorgeous up there. And then the Thai people there are just super friendly. It's fun to practice my Thai, and the food there is delicious, and it's also super, super cheap. I've also, about 5 or 6 years ago, I traveled to Isan, which is like northeast Thailand. My trainer at the time, he invited me to come visit his house and celebrate Songkran, which is the Thai New Year. And that's when the whole country has just a water fight. And that was a lot of fun because we were the only foreigners within miles and miles and miles. And so whenever we walked anywhere, people would just come up to us and want pictures because we're white people. So that was definitely a unique experience. But other than that, Bangkok's always great to go see fights. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't seen a fight at one of the Thai stadiums, it's like it's something that's hard to put words into. The energy there, the entire environment is just it's addicting. And so yeah, those have been some of the most fun aspects of it, and just like the beauty of Thailand as a whole. I mean, like I said, I live on an island. The island here is so beautiful, and then anywhere I pretty much travel has a unique feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'd heard guys like Liam Harrison and John Wayne Parr talk about, if you want to be a true Muay Thai fighter, you got to go to Bangkok. And, they've changed their stance or now go, all right, I'll go train in Phuket or, a different city now, just that they have the experience. But have you noticed that the best fighters tend to come out of Phuket or Bangkok?
Well, that's where the best fights are. And so generally speaking, what happens like when it comes to like the Thai Muay Thai fighters is that a lot of them come from poor areas in rural Thailand in the northeast or the north of Thailand. And so they have to fight at a young age. And then as they progress as a fighter, promoters in those rural areas will take note of them and then send them to a gym in Bangkok where they'll climb through the rankings and fight in the circuit and do that kind of stuff. So then that's where all the best Thai Muay Thai fighters generally are. That being said, I mean, training is all based on personal preference. So like some people will think that Bangkok training is the best, and a lot of the cases it can be, but there's a lot of great gyms down south which are great as well, and in Chiang Mai. Just the competition in Bangkok is the best for sure. That's where the promotions are. That's where the stadiums are. It's good to fight on places like I fight on Koh Samui, Phuket, Chiang Mai. It's good to fight on the places outside of Bangkok as well because you get experience and there's always going to be good competition out there. But when it comes to the highest level, definitely Bangkok for sure.
All right. So, the more and more I learn about the sport of Muay Thai, the more I fall in love with it. And, the more you learn about like a certain fighter, the more you're going to like the sport and appreciate their work. Who's a fighter for you that really like influenced your game or, you really looked up to and that helped you progress into training and fights?
That's a good question. So there's a couple different influencers, I guess you could say, that influenced my career. First is Kevin Ross was one of the OGs of American Muay Thai. And so when I first started in Muay Thai, he was one of the guys I looked up to as a role model in the sport. And he's always fighting the best. He doesn't care whether he wins or lose. He's a humble guy and he trains hard. So he was someone who I really wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps in a way. That being said, I don't really fight like Kevin at all. I fight. So at one point in my training, I was getting kind of bored and complacent with it. And I really liked how TJ Dillashaw and Dwayne Ludwig fought. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go train with them. So I flew out to Colorado where Dwayne opened up his new gym. I was there at the grand opening and stuff with Boss Rutan and all these Team Alpha Male guys. And I learned so much in the month I was there of a completely different style of fighting, with drop shifting, with fighting from both stances, with different combinations and changing levels, that it opened my eyes to all these different styles of fighting. And so after that, my game really started to kind of mold itself, where I was able to transition from southpaw to orthodox and fight in both stances and be able to just kind of fluidly go through combinations without worrying about what type of position I was in. And so Dwayne Ludwig, he's the kind of guy that has such a passion for the sport. It just radiates off of him. And it's something that is like an intangible thing, but he makes his such a, just the energy that exudes off of him when he's teaching. You can tell he loves this shit. And so I really took a lot from him when I trained out there. And then other than that, I mean, I just kind of blend a little bit of everybody together. I love Petrosian, the way he fights southpaw, but I also like the way Yatsenklev fights. So Yatsenklev is more of a powerhouse, a power kicker with straight punches, where Petrosian is more of a technical footwork type of guy. So I like being able to mimic both of them from southpaw. And then orthodox, I like to land my right hand. My right hand is like my main knockout weapon. So I try to mimic guys who have good fucking right hands, and a lot of Thais tend to do that. And Yeah, Pornsene is a great fighter that I really looked up to as well. I wouldn't want to fight his style because his style is like balls to the wall,
Yeah.
knockout or get knocked out kind of thing.
Yep.
And although that was a moment in my career, now I'm trying to focus a little bit more tactically and defensively to make sure I'm staying healthy.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally understand that. I mean, we're not just going to fight like one guy. No one's going to
Yeah.
fight the same. No, who's your favorite guy to watch? I mean, like whenever, whether if it were MMA, you know, anytime I saw Anthony Rumble Johnson on the card, I had to watch.
Mhm.
You know, who's that guy to you in Muay Thai?
Um, well, I really his name. One, there's a bunch.
Mhm.
Pompayak is one of the best fighters in Thailand right now. He fights at a lighter weight class. He's a southpaw, and he's just so beautiful to watch. He's so clean, so fast, so technical. It's really next level stuff. Other than that, I really like Petrosian for his technical ability and the way he's able to see openings and just how crisp he is. I could really appreciate that as well. And then yeah, that comes to mind right now. I mean, I'm trying to think of one FC. I love Liam Harrison. I mean, he's
Mhm.
always throwing bombs, and the intensity of his training is something to aspire to because he's always training at 100%, and that's just next level stuff. And then Jonathan Haggerty and Rodtang, they had some epic fights, and both of those guys I look up to as well. I love both of their fighting styles. Yeah, the list goes on and on, man. But those are a few that came to head.
Oh yeah, no, watching Liam Harrison hit pads is terrifying. I mean, just
It
thinking about
is.
that on your ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Man. So, what do you think would be the best way to grow Muay Thai in the States? I mean, you know, I wish that there were more promotions around me. At one point, before it became the LFA, Legacy Fighting Championships was doing kickboxing. I mean, that was the closest thing we were going to get. And aside from Glory, I'm not really seeing too many just kick fighting organizations, let alone Muay Thai. And I don't know if it's just going to take some guy with a large amount of money he can put into the sport, you know, a Fertitas of Muay Thai type deal with the UFC, or what it would take. You know, if you have any ideas.
I mean, I think a lot of it, I mean, that would be ideal if like a Fertitta could come around and everything. But at the same time, I know a lot of Muay Thai practitioners kind of like the underground feel to it as well. And so they
Mhm.
almost don't want it to be too big. And I get that. But at the same time, Muay Thai has such a positive impact on me in my life that I want more people to know about it because I know of
Mhm.
how much of a life-changing experience it could be. So when it comes to like how to grow in the States, I think there's got to be a lot of grassroots movements, a lot of local promotions doing smaller shows to build up the amateur rankings, a lot of smaller gyms starting up and be able to train fighters correctly. That being said, with any type of growth of any sport, there's always going to be the McDojos and the
Mhm.
types of gyms that don't really represent the sport the best.
Mhm.
But hopefully, in time, they will kind of fade out, and the true. But you see all these like fake martial arts on YouTube and shit. It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, generally speaking, just grassroots movements of people who generally love the sport
Mhm.
and want to see it grow. Promotions, local gyms. I think that is the best way to make it happen going forward.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. And I mean, I'm hoping that even just in my home state of Texas, we can really start getting things going. Honestly, we just need to see full rules Muay Thai in the States. Uh,
Hmm.
it's such a bummer whenever they call it Muay Thai and then you watch a kickboxing match.
Yeah, no elbows. More time with no
Yeah,
elbows.
yeah, Muay Thai with no elbows, and then trying to explain what Muay Thai is to someone when you have it kills me when I have to go. It's like kickboxing, but you can throw
Yeah.
elbows. Uh, it
Yeah, I
drives
die
me
a little
nuts.
inside.
Oh yeah, it's the worst, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's super fun talking to you. Definitely love all you're doing for Muay Thai. And hell, I'd love to be on one of those retreats. Um, Definitely be a lot of fun. Appreciate you coming on. So if you got any like plugs, you know, where we can follow you on social media, you know, how we can help your business out, please let us know.
Just check out MuayThaiGuy.com. I would say That's probably the best way, is just visit or Google Muay Thai guy, and you'll find everything about me. Yeah, I have a YouTube, Instagram, all social media. But if you want a little bit more of like at-home programming, especially for times like these when you're in quarantine, I have a heavy bag course at heavybagblueprint.com, and I have a body weight training course at thefightersbody.com. So I'm everywhere. Just Google me, you'll find me, and then you can take it from there.
Oh, yeah, awesome, John. Thank you very much, man.
You got it.
If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. When you get knocked down, you gotta get back up.